morning. So this is our helicopters, our primary aircraft that we run in. You can see all the ladders. Every morning the pilots and the mechanics and the med crew, we all do inspection. We also house our backup helicopter, and you can see that it's a little bit different. I'm interviewing our mechanic this morning, and he's going to speak of why it would be really important to have all the same helicopters in the fleet. All right, my name is Amanda Fagan. This is for Module 6. And I'm speaking to Joel. He is our helicopter mechanic here at our Kankakee base. He's responsible for all our helicopters and our maintenance, so he's the perfect guy to talk to this week. So, Joel, everything about helicopters is super expensive.
Right.
But what are things that we can do to reduce our fleet cost?
Some things we could do to reduce our fleet costs would be to take more precaution and be careful with the equipment and stuff that we're using.
Okay.
Like, for example, loading and unloading stretchers, sitting in the seats with making sure there's not any sharp objects in your pockets to rip. Just being careful with the equipment to help it last longer.
All right. And what can we do to improve fleet efficiency?
To improve fleet efficiency, I think we are pretty efficient for what we do, like getting called out and getting the helicopter out there and flying in an efficient time.
I mean, we do like a lot of inspections and everything like that to keep everything up. So you do like a 50-hour inspection?
Oh, yeah, I mean, making sure that all our hourly or scheduled maintenance is done on time and correctly. That's the main thing.
All right. And if you were responsible for the fleet, what would you change about it?
I kind of like your suggestion of configuring all the aircrafts the same way, just so you know from one to another it's exactly the same thing, and they're like the same model series as of like how new or old they are, because I know our backups are usually older than our primary aircraft. Another thing would probably be to get more reliable backups from Metro, maybe a little bit better support from them. I know we're a smaller base program as Superior as a whole. I know they have bigger programs where, you know, fleets have 14 to 15 helicopters, so they're more worried about, you know, getting those guys the parts and hazmat and all the stuff that they need, and then it kind of goes down the line to who needs it more.
So if everybody was exactly the same.
Everybody was prioritized exactly the same, which, I mean, I get it. If other companies are making you more money, you're going to pour more money into that, versus if they're not bringing in as much revenue, you're not going to really cater to them as much.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And another thing would be, like as you said, like the efficiency would be probably if stuff were to come up and not be like right or something, to bring it to the attention of somebody sooner rather than later, and actually, like, you know, fix the issue, because I know a lot of times it's stuff gets carried on through word of mouth just because there's so many different medical personnel and pilots and even mechanics, you know, rotating different shifts. So in one day particularly something could happen, and then you know, not be able to duplicate there or tell anybody about it, and then, you know, 2 or 3 weeks it happens at the most critical moment, which tends to happen. Even if it's something small, like, oh look, this light's not really working that well, turn it off, turn it back on, oh, it's working. But, you know, months down like a month later, 2 weeks later, it happens right when you need a flight, and it's like, if you would just told somebody, we could have corrected it before it got to the point of that.
Good point. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're here with Amanda Alba. She's one of our flight nurses. She's also my partner. So Amanda, we're talking about fleet costs this week, and we're going to concentrate on our helicopters because everything in aviation is very expensive. So, as a medical crew provider, what do you think that we can do to reduce our fleet cost?
I think one is teamwork, having everyone working together to understand how we can maintain our fleet, and reporting things and making sure they're taken care of immediately, not just passing things off. So open communication and everyone having an understanding of our aircraft and how to maintain it. Not that everyone can maintain it, but at least having an understanding.
All right. And what can we do to reduce wear and tear and improve our useful life of our helicopter?
Again, I think that comes back to education and having the med crew have an understanding on what we need to be doing to keep the aircraft clean as far as med crew. So like when we have a trauma call and we're cleaning, to make sure that we understand you can't saturate the floor, because we're penetrating potentially down into the avionics. So everyone just having a general understanding of aircraft maintenance and how to prevent any further damage or prevent problems that we may not understand as med crew.
And what would you change if you were responsible for the fleet?
Believe it or not, I'd go to 145s.
So,
And
explain the difference.
So we fly with a 135 and we have a weight restriction. So we have these old cots that keep banging up our wall and chewing through it. A 145 with a power loader is actually going to help prevent a lot of damage to the interior of the aircraft. And again, I think it goes back to training of the med crew, everyone having an understanding of how to maintain that aircraft properly.
Okay, thank you.